This conference will now be recorded.
Hello.
Yeah,
Oh, good evening.
Yeah,
Good evening.
yeah, good morning. Any questions before we start?
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, any questions before we start?
For me, no.
Okay. Okay, so we'll see these things right today. Agenda will be sort component, sort within groups, okay, so native sorted component, debugging, and replicate. Okay, so we'll see how much we can cover. So we'll cover this. Okay, so sort component, right? Yesterday we tried with the sort component, right? So we built the graph and we executed, right? So we are able to see the sorted output in the output data file, right? So the data like which is processed by sort component, it is being sorted by the key. So what we have done in the parameters, we have specified the key on which key basis I need the sorting operation, right? So once I selected the keys, right, state, so we are able to see the sorting is happened based on the state, right? Sorting is happened based on the state. Okay, so you can see all the records. Right. So on the state basis, you are able to see the sorted data here, right? You're able to see the sorted data. Okay. So within this state field, right? Okay. Do you see that the first name or last name is been sorted? Right, within the same state, do you see that there is a sorting happen on the last name or first name?
No.
No, right? So whenever we have only one field being defined, it will be like keeping all the records based on this group wise, right? Group wise. So after this AL, we are getting the CA and then CO, right? So this way we are getting the sorted data. But within this group of records, if you want to further be sorting is required, then we can add that field in the sort key, right? We can add that field in the sort key. So let's say that I need to sort it on the first name within this AL, right? So let's take these records. Okay, consider these records within the AL. Okay, so if within this AL, if I'm sorting on the first name, so which record will come on top? Can you check? Like which record I'll get as the first record?
Row number 13. Start the or
Which one?
H. Start with the letter H will come.
H, right? So starting with H. So this record will come as a first record, right? Then I, J, right? So we have to see which character is the first characters we have to see, right? Next is John. So this way the sorting should happen, right? So that way within the group level, I should go with the next level of inner level of the next field grouping should happen, right? So here itself, I could have added this next field, the first name here, right? I can have it added here so that the first field is on the state and the second field is on the first name. Okay, so now you could see within this state, I'm able to see the first name data, right? Being sorted here. Okay. And once this is done, you can see AL state is completed. Again, start with the CA. Okay, again starts with the CA state. Okay, this is how the sorting will be happen here. Okay, so sometimes, right? So within the sort group, sort component itself, I cannot go with the more level of sorting, right? I cannot do more level of sorting only with the help of sort component, right? Let's say that I have 3 fields, right? Or I have 4 fields sorting. Okay, so 4 field sorting or 3 field sorting. So you know the order of the fields, right? On which order I should go with the sort within the group level sorting, right? So when we are going with more number of fields, right? So the sort cannot accommodate your sorting requirements, right? It will not perform the sorting as you need it if you're going with the more number of fields, right? So within this case, I will choose sort within groups, right? I'll choose sort within groups component. Okay, but this component need the sort component to be prefixed, then only the sort within group should be should be used, right? So we should use sort component and then we should go with the sort within groups in the next level. Okay, so when we are using these 2 components in the sequential fashion, right? So what will happen is I will define the keys here, F1 and then F2, right? I define the keys here. And if I'm going with the next level of sorting, okay, so here I'll have within the sort within groups, I'll have the major key and then minor key. Okay, and then minor key. So the sort within groups major key is nothing but F1 and F2, which is already been sorted. Okay, and minor key is in the next level, I need to sort it on these 2 fields. Okay, this is minor key. So this way, I should define it in the sort within groups so that this major key is nothing but which is already been sorted is F1, F2. Okay, which will get sorted in the next level will be the minor key here, that is F3, F4. Okay, so within this case, right? So mostly the data, whatever we have it here, right? You will not feel the difference, right? Like when I use the sort within groups also, you will think that, okay, sort component is going to do. So now like sort within groups, right? We won't have that kind of data here in this case. Okay. So when it will comes, when the sort within groups will be having an effective requirement is, suppose say within the first field, I am considering it as state. Okay. But second field, I am considering it as a first name field, right? I'm considering the first name as a second field. So do you find any first name is matching with the other record? One record, one customer record is not matching with the second customer record with the same first name, right? Okay, everyone is having unique names.
Correct.
right? So
Correct.
when it goes to second also, assume that the second column is also having a repeated values. Okay, so here and there we have some repeated values as it is, right? Then if I go with the third field, then it makes sense for me, right? So you are going with the within the first field having the repeated values. Then I have to go with the group level. So go to the second field level. Again within the second field also I have the group of records which are having the right repeated values for the second field. Then it will go to the third field, right? If even third field is having some repeated values, it will go to the fourth field also. That kind of grouping, right? Within the group level, the sorting will happen. Okay, so in such cases, I can go with the sort within groups, right? But here, anyhow, like I'll go and use, right, how this sort component will work, right? Here, sort within groups will work here. I can go and use it. So the major key is already we are sorting on the state and then first name. Okay, the minor key. What I am doing is sorting within the last name. Okay, so what I would like to see is, okay,
Sorry,
so yeah.
one dot here. How many keys we can use max? In major and minor.
Any number of keys. Any number of keys.
Any number of keys.
Yeah.
So, you can show me that pop-up window for the component. It is disabling. Go to that.
Okay.
And minor key. Here it add is disabled, right?
No, no. Once we selected this field, you'll find the add enabled.
Okay, sorry. Fine. Understand.
Yeah. Just you click on it, it will get added, right? Whenever you need it. But
Okay.
once we come here, right now, it's no addition, right? You just want to move up or down, or you can remove it, right? That's how these functionalities will help you. These buttons will help you.
So it will do based on the okay. It will do based on the key fields order.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
This is the order, right? I mean like state, first name, and last name.
Okay.
Right, so indirectly if you see the outcome, it should be like sorted on the 3 fields sorted, right? That's what I am looking for. Okay, so what I'll do is I just want to write the sorted output to the file, right? I just want to write the sorted output to the file, okay, through a separate file. Okay, so here I'm taking the sort within groups output, okay, but I just want to show you the sorted output also to one of the file, right? So when you are trying to connect this output file to the sort component, it will not connect it, right? It will not connect it. So that means the the output flow cannot be shared between two different flows, right? Two different data flows. Okay. So now we have to connect with the replicate. So replicate is the one which will help you to split that way, right? That means I'm giving the sorted data to the replicate, and replicate will help you to pass this data to the multiple data flows, right? Without any parameters, right? So no properties are required here. Okay, so simply you connect this replicate with two different flows right here. So I can take any number of flows. So now the sorted data is going to this output file, and it's going to the sort within groups as well, right? So for this output file, I can rename it, right? Sorted output. Okay, so here itself I can give the file name, right? So file colon, the syntax is file colon, file path, and then file name. So I'm not giving the file path, okay? I'm just giving the file name. Okay, so why? Because here in this version, right, whatever we are using here, this will have some default version, default right location where I'll be storing the files, right? If you see the default location is nothing but say Abinitio temp location is the default location. So this temp location will hold all the output files, whichever you're creating here. Okay, so I'm not giving the path here, but in terms of Unix, whenever you are working with the real-time environment, we should definitely give the path. Okay, so without giving the path, don't write any file. Why? Because there won't be any default directory in the real time, right? So we have to mention in which path you are writing. You have to mention which path, from which path you are trying to read it back, right? That's how we have to do it, right? So here I'm writing to the output file, sorted output dot dat, right? So this is the file name I'm writing. So now we'll see the data after running. Okay, so what you could do is this is state, right? I can move the fields. Okay, just I can drag and drop, right? So the next field is first name, right? Okay, next one is last name. Okay, so now this is the data. Okay, so now you see like any data change you're observing, like as it is the data is same as it is, or something different by comparing
As
this
it is.
as it is, right? So as I
Yes.
said, there is no repeated values here, right? There is no repeated values in the second field. That's how you're able to see the same data as it is, right? Even though you're doing the sort and sort within groups also, that doesn't make any difference for you, right?
Actually, we can see the difference when we have the drop downs. Actually, the drop down flow of the data is there. That we can see that.
All right.
But in real time, do we use sort within group?
Yeah, we'll use it. Yeah, we'll use it.
Okay. So
We'll
because
use it.
most of the times the sort operation is some, I mean, time complexity and all that.
Yeah. So this will comes as a required criteria, right? It's not like simply
Yeah.
we'll do the sorting. Okay. So wherever we need definitely sorting. Without sorting, if you
Yeah.
cannot achieve means, then we have to sort it. So within that sorting
Okay.
also, if you have more number of fields and you want to do this kind of sorting within the group level sorting, right? In order to just to segregate them as a group, right? When I'm sorting. Okay, while I'm passing
Okay.
the data, right, from the one component to other component, the data flow, what I am passing, right, should have some kind of structured data, right? That means the order of the data is important for me while data processing. Okay, so
Okay.
this will comes into picture like a parallelism techniques and all, right? When we are applying it, okay, then you'll be more understanding those concepts, right? So how why we needed this, right? Sort within groups, why we need it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we need to group together, right? Group together this kind of data, okay, into one different flows of the data, right? That's how we'll be using sort within groups also.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll use it. So okay, right. Anyhow, we are not able to see any difference. Okay. So what I want you to try is tomorrow. Okay. Okay. So prepare the data, right? Prepare your data in such a way that I don't need 4 fields. Okay, good enough with 3 fields. Okay, just try with the 3 fields. So you make your data. Okay, So prepare the data as below. Okay. So what you can try is product type. Okay. And then category. Okay. And subcategory and price. Right. So you take this data. Okay. So the product type is right. Maybe you can take the similar kind of data, right? So let's say that I have the product type as A. Okay. So which is having some repeated values. Okay. And category wise, like again, category X. Okay, I'm just giving some example of the data, right? How it looks, how it should be defined with, right? And subcategory, you have to define the subcategory. Okay, so this should be the data. And see that, right? So how you're doing sort component, like work with the, play with the sort components and sort with groups and see, right? So if you want to prepare some data file within this environment, right? So you can prepare it here, okay, your data file. Suppose that this is the data file I want to make it, right? So what I will do is keep this in the notepad, save it, okay. Just I'm keeping in the temp location only, okay. Abinitio temp location only. What I will do is swg input, okay, swg input. So save it. So now you can, what you can do is when we try to define the input file, you can call that browse it, select any input, and now SW, where is SW? Yeah, SW input. So you have to define the DML now, right? So what should be a DML? Like these are the DML fields, right? Okay, I haven't taken the price value. So what I will do is I'll use this field names. Okay, so the only thing is if you see the data, you should see the data properly, right? So you'll find this issue, right? If you're defined normally. So if I am defining, if I have the file in the Unix environment, I'll define the DML in this way only, right? But as I am in the Windows environment, as you created the comma delimiter file or any kind of delimiter file, so what you have to do is I have to add /r/n, right? So carriage returns. So add this as a extra character so that it will be properly defined here. Okay, but still you are getting truncated, right? So the issue will be Okay, so we stopped the cursor here, right, in the last line. So click on enter, okay, and then save it. Okay, so now you read the data. Okay, now the data is perfect. Okay, you can use this kind of data files in your practice. You can make it your own data, right? So prepare this data and then try with sort and sort within groups components.
Hello, Kumar. Doubt.
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose that my field contains null values. Okay. How to handle basically in case of nulls, right? Sometimes I want nulls to be listed in the first, or sometimes I want nulls to be listed in the last.
So when you sort the data in the table wise, right, database, you're aware of the sorting and null data in the database also, right? So if you're working with the null data in the database level, right? So like ascending order, let's say that I'm doing the one of the column, I'm doing the sorting, right, and the ascending order. Okay. So normally like it will start with A and end with G character, right? Z. Okay. So, but if I have some null values, right, where it comes?
So in database, right? So there is an option either ascending or descending, whatever it may be.
Yeah. If I'm sorting on the ascending basis, so where that null records will come, right? Will it be in the first record or it will be in the last record?
If we don't mention it, it is on last record.
Last record,
Yeah,
right?
last.
If
Last.
I'm that means in the ascending order it goes in the last, right? That means it is like a high value, right? If you're seeing from the ASCII kind of understanding, right? ASCII values.
Not exactly. Even descending order also it will come last.
Descending also it will come last?
Yeah.
Are you sure on it?
I think for Oracle it will be.
Yeah, Oracle only, but I don't think it will come in the last. Ascending only it will come for last, but if it is descending, it will come first. That's what I remember. Yeah, but we can see it. We can try with that kind of data also.
Yeah. Okay. So in Oracle, right? So we can mention either ascending or descending. If I want to come first, I can. And if I want to come last, I can. Is that option available here?
No, you want to do, you are asking about ascending and descending orders, right? Can we do that or not, right?
No. Even though if it is ascending order, descending order, if null data is available, sometimes the requirement will be nulls to be listed in the first. Whatever it may be the order, ascending or descending.
Okay.
In both cases, right? I want the nulls to be listed in the first, or I want nulls to be listed in the last. It's my requirement basically. Whichever way I want, I can. Is that generally in Oracle we can do that way? Okay.
In Oracle, you can do it. Yeah, I got it. If you're doing the sorting, normally, okay, that won't, okay. Normal case is like either the nulls will come in the last or first, right? As per the ascending or descending order. But as you're saying is like, even though we sort it on ascending or descending, you want in the first, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, still I can. If I want the nulls to be first, I can get it. If I want the nulls to be last, I can get it. Whatever may be the sorting order.
Then you have to handle the nulls, right? And then assign some value, default value.
But we don't know what values contains in the fields, right? So if that value is available in the database, then sorry, in the file.
No, wherever it comes with null, right? You can replace with some character. Default character, default value. Like NVL, right? You remember the NVL?
Anyway, I'm thinking just whether if such character is available in the field or not sure what is the ASCII code, right? Which will come first or which will come last.
Yeah, we can check some ASCII characters and all, right? So we have some functions also available, right? So going forward, once we understand all those points, you can try with this. Not
Okay.
at this point, okay? So it's very beginning, right? So
Yeah, if it is
yeah,
DB, if we are getting the data from the DB itself we can handle, but if it is a flat file or something.
yeah. If it's flat file, we need to do it. If you're doing from the reading from the data from the tables and all, you can apply the DB related functions and all. Querying also.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, 1 second. Okay. So you take that data from the chart window. Okay. Hello. Able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you copied it from the chart window?
Yes.
Yeah. Srinivas? Srinivas?
Yeah, I'm taking.
You're taking? Okay.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
I'm.
Okay. Okay. So this replicate nature, right? So yeah, in between the program components, you can do it. Okay. But if you want to read from the source itself, right? Let's say that from the source itself, I need an replicate process, right, to be happen. Okay. So let's say that I want to connect to the filter component, right, from this data flow. I can do it directly. The input data set is having the replicate nature by default, right? The input data set is having a replicate nature by default. So that means it will allow you to connect to the multiple output flows. Okay, that is one point. Okay. So now, like, I will talk about the dedupe sorted component. Okay, so this component will help you to remove the duplicate records, right, in the data flow. So if you want to remove the duplicates based on the keys, I can define the duplicate key here. That means I can define the key on which field I want to remove the duplicates, so that you can handle the data, right? So if I have the data available in the from the source, right? Okay, so let's say that I have the data. Okay, let's say that we have these records. Okay, this is my source data, right? This is my source data. If you're performing the sorted data, if you're sending this data, right? So this is the data. So field 1 and field 2, there are two fields, right? Existing in this data, right? We have field 1, field 2. If you're sorting the data, right? If you're sorting and sending the data to the dedupe component, right? So the dedupe component requires sorted input. Okay. The dedupe sorted component requires sorted input. Okay. So if this is the source data, you send this data to the sort component, and sort will perform the sorting on the field F1. Okay. And dedupe sorted key will be on F1, and dedupe sorted will have two outputs. One is output port and other one is loop port. Right. One is output port, another one is loop port. Okay. So if you see here, I'm sorting on the F1 and deduping on the F1, right? So if I am doing the if I'm checking on the data, right, F1 data, which values are having duplicates among all this?
2
and 2.
1 and 2.
1 and 2, right? So 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 is having the repeated values, right? So within this dedupe component, I have the one of the parameter called as keep parameter, right? We have a keep parameter. So this keep parameter by default, it is having first. Okay, by default, it's having the first as a value, right? This is the default value. Okay, so if you have the default value, what will happen? Okay, in place of first, if I take the last as a value, right? Last as a value, what will happen? If I am taking the unique, okay, what will happen? Okay, so between these two, right? This is mandatory port, okay, where I have to connect with, but this is optional port, right? This is optional port. This two port is optional port. Okay, so when I choose the default value, right? So let's take this data as it is. After sorting also, I'm getting the data as it is to the sorted output, right? So within the data, I'm getting as it is, the data is coming up as it is, right, from the source. And after sorting also, it is the same order. There is no change. Okay, so within the keep first means keep the first record within the group. Keep first record within the group, right? So which record is the first record within the group, right? So within these three records, this is the first record, right? So this is the first record. And for 3 and 4 is having only one record, so this will come, right? So when I choose the first option, I'll get all these 4 records. Got it? Okay. If I'm choosing the last option, okay, this is the last record. This is the last record, and 3 and 4 is unique. So this is the last option. Okay, so that means I'm going to get these records as a last. Anyhow, like 3 and 4 is common to all the outputs, right? And this 1R and 2K is for first option. But if you go for the unique only option, right? So which is unique within the data, right? Which is unique within the data. So it is 3 is unique and 4 is unique. It is unique only. Right? The option is unique only option.
Unique only will get only 3 and 4.
Yeah, 3 and 4, right?
Only 3 and 4.
Right, only 3 and 4. One and two is having repeated values, right? That is not unique.
One doubt here.
Yeah.
Generally, duplicates in the sense the entire record having the same values, then we are considering this as a duplicate in general. Correct, right?
Not necessary, right? Not necessary. That is one scenario. What you're saying exactly the duplicate. Okay. The scenario what I'm talking is on the base of field wise, right? Suppose say I'm taking the one of the identity, right? So I'm taking your Aadhaar card number, right? Okay. So I'm taking the Aadhaar card number, but when you are considering this Aadhaar card number as a unique number, but if you have something duplicates coming up on the data level, right? From the source level, I have some duplicates. Same Aadhaar number is appearing for 2 times. I never mind, right? Whether other fields are something as it is or something is different from between the 2 records. Okay, it could happen anything in any way, right? I don't know what is the change, right? I don't.
Number is same, but remaining data is different. This is something have to be verified. We should be like it, but the entire
No,
record.
even though you verified it, you don't have anything, right? If you want to drop something which is duplicate, you just want to drop it, right? You cannot evaluate the data which record is correct one, right? As long as on the base of ID field value, it is a duplicate for me. Okay, so you need to drop one record or allow one record, right? That means in that case you can choose first or last, but definitely from the source, if you're getting something duplicate, I don't want to take that kind of risk also, right? I don't want to process that record also. If you get strictly on account ID basis, if I'm getting the data of a customer data I'm getting from the source, right? If I'm getting the duplicates, okay, just drop them out, right? That is my validation rule, right? In such cases, I'll go with the unique only option. Okay, but if they are not giving any kind of right that kind of requirements, right? But still, like you want to process one record at least, right? You want to process one record, then you'll choose first or last, and then allow one record. So whichever records you are not having it, right? So in this case, right, this is a record which is belongs to first option, right? This whichever I colored with this, right? This is the first option. So that means I am considering only 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 records only. So 1A, 1G, and 2L will go to dupe output, right? Dupe output, that is dupe port, second port, which is optional port. That means they are getting dropped out, right? And similarly, if you take the last option, 1R, 1A, and 2K will go to the dupe port, right? In case of unique, all these 1 and 2 related, all these 5 records will go to the dupe port. Okay, but this component needs a sorted input. So the key, whatever you have it in the sort and whatever you have it in the dedupe sorted should match.
Okay.
Okay, otherwise there is no meaning of sorting, right? If the sorting is happening on different key and the dedupe is happening on different key, then you cannot say that the data is sorted already, right? So that's how we need to check and take care, right? So the data is in the sorting, right? So on the same key basis. If the data is not sorted, that means if you are not using sort component, means here somewhere else in the previous graph, right? The data is already been sorted. That's how the data file is in the sorted order. That means this data set is already sorted in the previous graph while it is getting created. So yesterday we saw the flow, right? Like one graph output is an input for the next graph, right? So during that cases, if the data is already sorted on the key, whatever you are looking for, then we don't need this sort component, right? We'll avoid this using this component in that cases.
Okay. One doubt here. So the dedupe component will validate whether the input file is sorted or not.
It won't validate.
It won't validate. So this is all for our convenience only, right?
It won't validate. Yeah. This is like we need to right. We need to check take care of the data whether it is sorted or not, and then you send it to the dedupe component, right? If you're not sorting properly.
If the file is not sorted, but still the dedupe component will do its work, right? So it won't validate.
It won't work.
So the sorting is basically according to our convenience to identify immediately.
No, not for our convenience. Not for our convenience. Without sorting, the dedupe sorted component will not work. What I'm saying.
So it will not give the output as expected.
Right. Correct. It will not give the right output. Okay, you will get something else, right? But it will not fail, so you won't be knowing it. Okay, it's not so sorted data. Sending the sorted data to the dedupe sorted component is we need to take care, right? So even though you're not sending the sorted data, it will not do the right job. It will give the incorrect output.
I need a demo on this one.
Yeah, we'll see it. We'll see it. Just if you see the content, if you got the content, we'll see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is sorting here? I'm taking. Okay, so let's sort it on the one field here. Okay, which I'm doing on sorting on the state.
What are the example you given, right? That's very easy to understand.
Hey, you can make this data, right? You can prepare this data and try it. Okay, whatever I showed you here. Okay, but I'm showing you. Yeah, I'm using this file and showing you. You can make this data if you want.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, in the dedupe sorted, right? We have the key. So take the state, right?
Okay.
And you can see the keep, right? Keep first. Default is first.
Okay.
And we have last also unique only also, right? So by default it is first. You can see. I'm not changing anything. So do put also I'm writing to the output just to show you, right, how the data is coming up. Okay, so now we can run the job and see, right, how it runs. Okay, so you can see this is writing 9 records with the output. Okay, so for this AL state, I got this fall record. So that means after sorting, this is the first record. What I have to understand, right, as per this default first, right?
Okay.
So if you want to see the data before this, between these two components, if you right click on the flow, you won't see the view data option here, right? You won't see the view data option here. So what I'll do is I will select the flow, enable, like for this purpose, we have the debugging option, right? So debugging option. So we have to go for debugger and enable debugger. This is one option, right? Click on enable debugger so that you will see the plus button and minus button, right? Watchers are available. So this add watcher, if you do it add watcher, it will add some watcher on the flow. On this watcher, the data will be written to the file watcher. It's called as a file watcher. It will write to the file in the host level. Okay, within the host level, it will write some data within the file level, temporary file. So now if you right click on the watcher and see file watcher, you see the view data is available, right? But this is disabled at the moment. But once you run the job, this file watcher will get loaded and you could see the data.
Okay.
right? I am just showing you the 10 records, so you can see the Paul record as the first record for the AL state. Okay. So similarly, you can change the parameters, right? Instead of keep first, I can take the last option. Run it. You should not get the Paul record now. You should get the last record, something else. Right? I got the Douglas Scott record. And similarly, if I am going with the unique only option, so we will not get any records. Why? Because there is no unique for any state. Okay. Okay, so while this is only for debugging purpose, okay, while your development is in progress, you can do this adding of watches and all. But before you check in the code into the EME, right, you have to remove these watchers. Okay, we have to remove the watchers. So remove the watchers is nothing but you click on the remove watchers option. Okay, and then you check in. So you can add any number of watchers in between the flows. Okay, let's say that I am selecting the whole graph, right? Okay, anyhow, this disabled comment I don't want. Select the whole. Okay, select the whole graph. Add watchers, right? It will add all the places. Okay, so then you can remove it. After removing also, you can remove at one place. Okay, wherever you want to see the data, you can see the data in the graph. Clear? Okay. So we'll
What
see
are those key
continuation.
symbols and zeros and
Which one?
what are the key symbol on the sort and the delete sort?
Just to understand the key.
Okay.
Okay.
So this component is having key sorted or key component.
Yeah, on whatever key you're mentioning here, right?
Okay.
Key parameter. This
Okay,
key
this
parameter
component.
is reflecting.
Okay. Okay. The color zero.
Which one?
Zero. Your cursor
Zero.
is on.
Yeah, we'll talk about these zeros later in separate session, right?
Oh, okay.
But you just yeah, as you're observing, that is good. Okay, we'll get an answer in the next session, right? On when we are talking about basics. Okay,
Okay.
just
Okay.
see. Okay, all this also we'll talk about this reject port, error port, and all, right? Next session.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so okay, so you are good to practice, right, Krishna? You have that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
You have it. It's working,
It's
right?
working.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay. And Srinivas, you have VM available for you in your laptop?
No, it is not available. So, what
Okay.
is the requirement for this?
It will be minimum requirements only. Maybe you might have 4 GB RAM and all, right? At least.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will work actually. So I sent an email. Did you get a chance to look at it?
Mail? Any
Yeah,
email
mail.
is.
Yeah, I
No,
sent
I did.
mail. Can you check on your email?
Yeah, I will check that one.
I got your email from this guy, right? From the team.
Yeah.
I shared you the instructions and even I shared the VM and all, right? So you try with
So,
this option, sir.
VM software, I mean, VM link you shared, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
not
over the Google Drive, right? Yeah.
over the Google Drive. Okay. I will download today and I will try to install.
Yeah, just if you, yeah, you might have get it actually. Can you confirm now? You can check the emails now.
1 minute. Check.
Yeah. Whichever email you shared to the team, right? That is the email.
Yeah. I got some links.
Okay.
Part one.
Yeah, you try and let me know. Tomorrow we'll see if you have anything. Okay.
So, okay, the next session is on Monday, right?
Will you be able to join tomorrow or not?
Tomorrow, yeah, I can join.
Why? Because yeah, so Monday to Friday, I'm okay. So let me know, like, why? Because everyone should feel the comfort. Why? Because you have Saturday tomorrow, right? So Saturday morning for you.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, whereas Friday night for us, right? So
Oh, okay. So then Monday is not available, correct? Right?
no, I'm not differentiating now as now
No,
itself,
you
right?
told Monday to Friday. I thought it's in Indian hours.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how. Like, I just want to hear from you, right? So how you want? Okay, Monday. You need
Yeah, for me,
your
for me
okay.
it is fine.
It's fine, right? For you, Krishna, Srinivas.
Yeah, for me it is fine.
Okay, how about you, Krishna?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, so we'll do one thing. We'll go with Monday to Friday. Okay, that will be your Tuesday to Saturday,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yeah, fine for me.
Okay, so even weekends also I can take it. Okay, whenever you feel it's okay to take it. Okay, otherwise no.
I'm okay with even on weekends as well.
Okay, so that will be like all the days you'll
Early
have
morning.
session. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine because it's early morning, so I don't have any plans on it.
Yeah.
Will be good.
Srinivas, you are okay, right? For we
Yeah,
all the days, right? Every day you will have session.
yeah.
Okay. That way you won't forget like the session also.
Yeah.
Daily you connect and do it. Maybe you can take some more time in practice during weekend.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll share the documentation part also in the next
Yeah,
right. Yeah. You can go through it. Whatever I'm sharing also will be with you, right? And those documents also I'll be sharing on, and help document will be there. That will give you good right support for learning. Okay.
Okay.
You can go through it and see
Okay.
it. All those. Okay. I'll share it on
in your
the
sharing material, I mean, is there any material which we can help go through all the components? Okay, then it's fine.
Right. Yeah, I'll share the help document. Okay, that will
Okay.
have complete things. Okay, let me. You're able to see, right? So this will be the help document. Okay.
Okay.
You'll have the contents and all. Okay. So when you expand, all these things will be there. Okay. But if you want to search something here, you can search on. Okay. Sort component. Okay. So you can see the content, whatever I'm explaining here and all. You will see some
Is
examples.
this the latest version or, I mean, 3
This won't be latest one. It's a 2 point, 2 point or 3 version, I think. What is this version? 3.0, right? Okay. So that would be good. Okay. It's not like later. You should not be. It's not necessary that it should be latest version. Okay. This would have
Yeah.
all the things. Okay. I'll share this documentations. Okay. So when you get time, you go through it.
Okay.
Okay. Put some hands on. That will keep you right confidence right on day-to-day basis.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so as long as you are familiar with the component properties and all, right, value defining and all.
Yeah.
Okay, so you will not feel that. Okay, so you go through it. So we'll talk tomorrow. Okay, at the same time.
Okay.
Thank you.